Hi, just going to do a short video on this Hyundai I10 with a 1.4. I think the engine code is G4LA, 4-cylinder. Apparently we had a problem with both of these engines in the same car. Initially, when we bought this car, it had problem with the variable valve timing gears. So we priced them up and they were too much. That one was like £650, another one like 500 plus VAT. So I decided to get a second-hand engine which was running, and I heard it running. I fetched whole of the car, accident damage, left it in garage, running for an half an hour and running fine. Anyway, I got the engine out, put it into this car, left it running for like an hour or so. Now, I wasn't sure whether I put the radiator cap on or not, but when I put the engine in initially, but the electric fan was cutting in and out, oil level was okay, water level was okay, the car wasn't overheating, but after an hour, it started knocking. So we sort of like revved it up a little bit and knock got worse. So we took the engine out and we were certain that it was the big end bearing that spun on the crank. Because the noise was getting worse and worse and louder, and that's the usual case with the big end bearing. Anyway, we took the engine out, we put the original engine back in, which had done 52,000 miles. That engine had done 72,000 miles. But like I said, they were a runner. There were no problem with the engine until we put it into this car. Anyway, what we did is put the original engine back in because we wanted the gears out of the other engine. So we took the gears, both variable valve timing gears, inlet and exhaust, and put them into this engine and put the engine back in. Now this engine's been running, it were on 52,000 and it did 75,000 now on the clock, mostly motorway mileage. But thermostat housing and the link pipe that goes from the thermostat housing to the back of the head was leaking. So I thought, let's change that. Anyway, I've changed that. But while I was doing that, one of the pipes for the servo broke on the inlet manifold. So I got the old manifold off the other engine and put it onto this. That's the only thing that I did from the other end. The manifold was spotlessly clean. There were no problem with it. So I put it back all together, started it up, and it was running fine until after about an hour or so. Now don't count me on it whether I put the radiator cap on or not, but again, the fan was kicking in and it started knocking. So what we did is we took this engine out, stripped it down, we rebuilt it now, and the problem that we had with it, is gone. But my 40 odd years of experience, I've never come across this problem. We know both of these engines, and I'm wondering if somebody out there that come across with this sort of problem. I'm going to show you now what it was. What it was that this piston, if I point it to the camera, just there, was catching on the cylinder head itself, and here as well, on most of these, but this one was really bad, number 4 and number 1. And the piston usually goes and sits there like that. So, well, it comes up and hits the head there like that. There is a groove here, like a hollow, so the piston can't hit here, but it can here. Now, when I stripped the engine down, I turned the crank until the piston was dead level with the block, and believe it or not, there is no gap. It's just dead level. Only thing that keeps the pistons apart from the head is just thin gasket, this one here. So my question now is, what's causing them to do that? Is it the expansion, taking place while they're idling? And only thing we did notice with this engine was that the piston rings, especially the oil ones, they were all clogged up and seized up. Other than that, we don't know, and we don't know where the macula has come from, because like I said, the inlet manifold was spotless. The old engine was running fine. We didn't strip that engine as we got it from that car. We just put it straight into this car, that engine had did 75,000 miles. So I'm wondering if this, because I had a word with a local breaker and he said he's selling a lot of these engines, and I'm wondering that if this is the problem with these engines. So I mean, then, so once we knew what the problem was, we had these pistons skimmed down a bit, you know what I mean, by 10 thou. They were saying at engine center they took it down 10 thou, so that just gave me enough just below the block. So, but next time if I'm doing that, I'll have the pistons skimmed as well, and I'm gonna get a probably a slightly thicker gasket as well next time, so it gives me a plenty of room between the head and the block. We were thinking of you know, taking a groove out of the air, but they said, you know, they didn't have the machine for that, you know, to take the groove out a little bit to give it a bit of clearance here. But instead they said they got the machine to take, you know, grind the piston down 10 thou. So at the moment it's running fine. We're hoping that, you know, that clearance stays there. But some people are saying, oh, something has dropped in. I said, well, if something has dropped in, where is it gone? And if it had dropped in one of the cylinders, then why is it all the cylinders are showing a slight mark? And somebody suggested, oh, it went into the inlet manifold and it came out and went into the other. And I said, no, I'm not buying that, because if something drops in, then it just like sort of sits on top of the piston and it squeezes in, because aluminium is soft, you know what I mean. And I have seen things, you know, being stuck to the piston. They don't come out, they just get bashed down. So, see if anybody else had this problem. Now, these are two engines that I had a problem with. So, you know, if there is, I'd like to, you know, somebody to comment on that, please. So, you know what's really happening. I'll put it down, to be honest with you, the design fault for not allowing enough expansion on the pistons. Okay, so I'll just leave that with you. Thank you.